Welcome everybody to the March Oil Hub. We're really excited to share some lovely things to cope with, to calm the body. We're going to look at some things to soothe aching muscles and joints. We're going to look at a little bit about the supplement industry and the regulations behind that, and it's really an eye-opener. We've got some lovely, amazing, mind-blowing, tear-jerking testimonials, and got some lovely recipes as well. So first of all, just share with you what you've got available as a wholesale customer in your shop, and then we'll move on straight to the lovely Emma, who's going to discuss Copaiba, and she's got some amazing uses with Copaiba and how to use. Oh, going too fast there. There we go. So for March, just as a reminder, but we'll go through it as we go through tonight. We've got the free product of the month, which is the Rosemary, and that's available with an order of over 125 PV before the 15th of the month. So we've got another sort of 8 days to go to get the free rosemary oil. And then on top of that, you also have another free item, which is the Deep Blue Rub and Copaiba. So Deep Blue Rub's roughly about £35. Copaiba 15ml is about £38. So together, whoever can do the maths really quick, it's a really amazing deal. In fact, I did work it out. Copaiba, Deep Blue and Rosemary together. Pop it in the chat if you know it, because you can get all that for free if you do an order over 200 PV. And this Deep Blue Copaiba offer, even if you miss the rosemary, is available all of the month, whether you're LRP customer or not. So it's useful, and we're going to see the ways that we can use it to our benefit. And we have regular users of these that can really show us how to get the most out of it. Aside from that, on the same theme of Copaiba, we've got the Copaiba Softgels, which we'll discuss, and there's 10% off those as well. So a good time to try something is when it's 10% off, so you get a little bit of a discount. If you enjoy the Meta Power, we've got a new flavour of Meta Power. And I can't remember actually what the flavour is. I think it's strawberry and lime. I think it is anyway. Pop it in the chat if it's any different. Strawberry and something anyway, and that's a new flavour. 2 per account available. And we've also got the trio, and this can't be bought. You can't buy the Manuka oil on its own. So to get these as a trio, very exquisite blends. These we've got the lovely Blue Lotus, which is just very rare precious oil from the Blue Lotus flowers. Very, very, just an amazing scent. We've got Neroli, very evocative, and then we've got Manuka, which is great for chesty, first aid. It's similar to tea tree in the uses that you can have for Manuka for any skin issues or irritations, but also respiratory system, bites, things like that. So that's a useful first aid oil to have, and it's ready to go, so you can take it with you on your travels, as well as the beautiful scent of the other 2 florals. So that's the offers of the month. We also have a special hand cream, Gardenia hand cream with the actual Gardenia Touch blend, and it's a floral blend, and Deborah has actually bought it. So I don't know if you want to share what you think of it, please. That would be lovely.
It's absolutely beautiful. And then when I first bought it, I just thought it had that gardenia in it, but apparently it has in it as well. It has wild orange, jasmine, honeysuckle, osmanthus, and rosemary. So it's deeply moisturizing. And I have to say, it does feel very luxurious. I love the packaging. And to obviously get your oil as well. And gardenia is known for soothing, calming, just a really beautiful oil to add to our collection. And my hands are rough as out in the winter months, so I've welcomed it, let me tell you.
Lovely. Thank you, Deborah, for that. So if you want a different hand cream, then you can treat yourself there. So we're going to now pass over to Emma, who's going to discuss Copaiba.
Hello, everybody. I hope you're okay. So I wanted to share a little bit about Copaiba. Firstly, I'm going to go on to the oil itself. So tonight I actually have Copaiba, 2 drops of this and 2 drops of bergamot in my diffuser at the moment. So it smells really nice. You can go like 3 or 4 drops depending on the size of your room, but in my room I thought give that a try. But I'm hoping it's a really nice thing for mood. So that's great. But I thought I'd share with you some little facts about Copaiba. So it's steam distilled from resin, and it can be used in all 3 ways. It can be used topically, aromatically, and it can be used internally. It is generally recognized as safe for internal. So if you choose to use that, just look up the information on that. Diluting it is definitely a good idea if you want to take that. But what I love about it is it's a powerful oil. Historically, it's been used for things like inflamed areas, skin issues. Some have even used it for respiratory issues as well. And then it may also support other issues that you might have down below. I really don't know if I should go into details on that, but you can definitely research that one. But the body systems that is supported is cardiovascular, respiratory, nervous systems, muscles, bones, emotional balance, and skin, which I thought was really nice. And aromatically, it supports mood and can uplift us. It may also help to support nervous tension if we're feeling a bit stressy. That may support. Now, I looked into the emotional benefits of Copaiba as well, and the negative emotions that it may support are negative emotions like shame, guilt, perhaps we're feeling regret, or perhaps self-loathing, if we're not feeling worthy, or maybe we're suppressing our emotions. So the emotional benefits are incredible for Copaiba. And thinking about it, it comes from the tree resin. Those trees are glorious trees. In fact, I'm sure I've heard recently that they can live for hundreds of years. So it's incredible that we can actually get benefit from these trees, isn't it? Companion oils that could go really well with Copaiba would be things like helichrysum, frankincense, black pepper, Forgive the blend, HD clear, pink pepper, tulsi. There's so many options there. And we could use it aromatically, like I said, in the diffuser. So we could put some drops in the diffuser. We could also inhale it directly from the bottle. We could also dilute it with the fractionated coconut as well. So if we've got a touch, brilliant. If we make our own with the roller bottles, we could do that too. Or we could place it in our hands, rub it and inhale it. Topically, it can be quite good to apply maybe 1-2 drops over your heart and perhaps the lower stomach area to support any anxious feelings. We could put it on our forehead or the crown of our head, or even what I do is I put it on the back of my neck. I also put it on the back of Dan's neck as well. And then internally, we could take 1 to 2 drops under the tongue or in a capsule, or we could pop the drops into water. I'll continue with that bit in a second with the soft gels, but I think, oh, I just realised the time, bear with. So the soft gels I'll actually go over to now, and I just wanted to share, there's about 2 to 3 drops per capsule inside the soft gels, just in case you were wondering. So if you ever ran out, maybe, what I do anyway, is if I run out of Copaiba soft gels and my LRP is going out the following month and I haven't checked beforehand, which can happen, can't it? Then what I do is I add 1 or 2 drops into a veggie capsule, and then we can take that. It's really supportive. The benefits can really support the nervous system, and it's worth trying to see if that supports us. It promotes soothing of any anxious feelings or thoughts, and we can use 1 soft gel a day and just see how we feel with that. They are €38.92, I believe, usually. So I think that's with the 10% at the moment. And in pounds, I think it's about £31 something there with that. I just wanted to share a little testimonial before I finish. So this testimonial I received about the CP Softgels, and I said, the person said, I bought the CP Plus capsules, not really knowing what they were. I think they were on special one month. I just twigged yesterday that each time I've taken them before bed, it's solved my nightmare problem. I thought that was really interesting because it's maybe not something that we would associate it with, perhaps, but it helped this person. I also responded in saying that that's so interesting because for my husband, it supports his body systems and really helps with supporting discomfort and also anxious feelings too. So I thought I'd share those little things. And one last thing as well, if we're feeling overwhelmed, perhaps we could use that. And for sleep, perhaps we could use 2 drops of Copaiba and 2 drops of Serenity and see how we feel. That's me.
That's amazing, Emma. Thank you so much for sharing that. We've got some lovely messages in the chat of how others use Copaiba. Sarah, 1 drop on the tongue for severe headache. Emma can't wait to use hers. Internally under the tongue for anxiety, Jill. How do CP capsules differ from taking Copaiba oil? I think it's just the addition of the fact that they are 3 drops in a soft gel with a bit of olive oil. Is that right? I think that's the only difference. So it's just convenience, isn't it? That I think, yeah, amazing for the nightmares. That might help somebody else. And now we're over to Alison, who's going to talk about the free product if you do over 200. I'm just going to spotlight you, Alison.
So hard when you're just using a phone trying to figure out what button you're supposed to press. Right, I'm assuming you can all hear me. So yeah, I'm going to talk about the Deep Blue rub. And this is something that I use a lot. I hurt my lower back when I was younger doing something very stupid. And as I'm getting older, it's paying me back. So this is definitely my number one thing at the moment. So the one that's on offer is the topical cream. And I would say if you've tried it before and you weren't too keen on it, or you got the Deep Blue oil in your starter kit of, say, 10 oils, and it smells very much like deep heat, you might not be keen on that smell, but I would say give it another go because they've reformulated it, but I'll come to that later. So even if you've tried this before and gone, oh, I'm not sure, it's worth having another go with it being a free offer. So it's to reduce muscular pain, joint, bone pain, inflammation, which is also good for me because I'm starting to get arthritis. So it's also quite a moisturising cream, and you get that sensation of sort of warmth and coolness. It sort of ebbs and flows, but it's very, very effective rather than having to take a gel, a commercially available gel with painkiller in it. It sort of has that same effect, which I was very pleasantly surprised about. So in the Deep Blue rub, obviously one of the main component parts is your Deep Blue essential oil blend, and that's full of oils that are known to comfort your muscles, like I say, muscles and joints are both things, and it's really good for your back, say your legs if you've been out for a run, or your feet, or if you've been at the gym and you're aching. Last week I actually used it here on the top of my arm, up my shoulder and into my neck because I couldn't physically lift my arm up, and it amazingly straight away started to ease the pain, made it more bearable, and after about an hour I was sort of gaining my mobility back, which was really, really good. So it's a good thing to keep in your gym bag if you're into that kind of thing, which I'm not. But yeah, apparently you ache when you've been to the gym. I wouldn't know. Or say if somebody in your family plays sport, maybe, you know, your son goes out and plays football, or your husband or somebody, put it in their bag because they're probably going to get an injury or strain a muscle or something. So it's really good for that. So like I say, it was reformulated, I think it was last year, because it used to contain wintergreen oil, which cannot be sold in Europe now. Although we can still buy the wintergreen oil, I think, as an individual oil on the website, because obviously we're out of the EU now. So, like I said, but due to this reformulation, it feels less, smells less medicated, and it's more minty now, which is very pleasant. And the reason for this sort of mintiness is because it's got Japanese mint in it, which is similar in smell and sort of properties to peppermint, but it has the higher percentage of the actual menthol in it. So it's more potently minty. So that is the overriding smell now of the deep blue, is more of a minty freshness, but not like toothpaste. It's a pleasant minty smell. And that the Japanese mint is also what's in a lot of the lozenges. You know, when you get minty cough lozenges and breath minty lozenge type things, a bit like the Ricola type ones. Often enough, that'll be your Japanese mint. And then it's got the Copaiba, which is in the offer with it. And like Emma says, that is good for all sorts of things. But it's soothing for your skin, and working along with the deep blue, it's helping your inflammation, your aches, your pains. And it's got high antioxidant properties. So that helps stimulate your circulatory and your pulmonary systems. It's sort of acting with the deep blue. And then another new ingredient in it is bergamot mint, which isn't like bergamot. It's actually more of a lavender type sort of plant. So it's very comforting, very soothing. So that's good after a workout. It's sort of got that calming soothingness, and it's also working on your body as well. Then you've got the tea tree and the blue tansy, which the blue tansy is where the blue bit comes from, because that's sort of an indigo colour. So the tea tree and the blue tansy work together. So they're cleansing for your skin and purifying. They soothe the skin, but then they're also analgesic and anti-inflammatory. So they're very good for arthritis and rheumatism, which again is me. And then interestingly, you've got a little bit of star anise in there, which on its own is good for your stomach discomforts and things like that. But it's sort of adding to the comfort of the blend. So and it adds a bit of you can smell it in there along with the mintiness. So if you can get somebody, Deborah, to give you a shoulder massage with the deep blue, I would absolutely recommend it. But like I said, because it's good for joints and for muscular. It sort of works both ways. So like I rub it up and down my spine, and then that also helps it absorb in really well. Or you could rub it on your feet into the area that is really hurting. Obviously, if you've got one of the charts that shows all the areas of your body, that'd give it like a double whammy. I think you can apply it about 3 or 4 times a day. So you can't just sort of keep layering it on. You've got to give it time to work. But yes, if anybody's on the fence about trying the deep blue products, I would definitely recommend, if you do any physical work, like I'm a cleaner, aches and pains all the time, or like I say, if you're exercising, sporty, or you've got arthritis, rheumatoid arthritis, anything like that, I would definitely recommend.
Oh, that's amazing, Alison. I did not know about all them reformulated ingredients. So that's really good to know, isn't
It has completely changed
it?
from, say, what is in any of the oil books, apart from the blue tansy. That is about the only thing that is still in it that's the same.
Yeah, wow,
They've
amazing.
really upgraded the blend. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Interesting. So Emma's husband Dan uses it for the different aches and pains. It depends. Sometimes the stick's good, sometimes the rub's
Mm.
what you need.
Yeah. I like the stick when I don't want to get my hands all tacky. You can keep that, say, in your handbag, and say at work, I can rub it on my shoulders and I'm not going, ugh.
Yeah, that's really good. Nice testimony from Laura. She layers the cream with copaiba and frankincense on the back of the neck, behind the ears, temples, and forehead for anxiety, stress, and headaches. That's amazing. That's a great with that.
Yeah, it is good to rub, for headaches and things like that. And on the back of your neck when you're getting a tension headache, it's really good. I've tried that before now.
Brilliant.
And I am a whole testimony of aches and pains.
And I thought this was a good point. You should put just a tiny bit on fingertips and massage in, because you only need a pea-sized amount, don't you? The deep, but it is strong, so you don't need a lot. A little goes a long way. And Sarah's asked the difference between the stick and the rub. And I think the difference is obviously it's different sort of formula in a stick base, but it's got copaiba in, whereas the Deep Blue Rub doesn't. Am I
Mm.
right? Let me know if
I
I'm
think the Deep Blue Rub has the Copaiba in, but I think the
copaiba
stick it
one,
highlights that there is
as in
Copaiba in, so there must be
like it's
more
like
Copaiba in. Yeah,
combo. Yeah,
yeah,
get that. But we can send you the document for them both so you can compare.
yeah. Like I said, 'cause in the book, I've got the Deep Blue stick next to it, and you can't, yeah, because obviously it's still got the camphor in on its own, whereas they're using the camphor is in, I think that's in the Japanese mint. I think it's
Okay.
in one of them is the camphor, but they've taken actual camphor out, if you know what I mean. So it is different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, good in different ways. I would just say the
Mm,
stick is more convenient.
mm.
I would
But
say
yeah, I think it
personally,
has a stronger dose of copaiba in, I think, does the
and
stick.
I think Deep Blue Rub for me is more intense. I don't know if that's a personal thing.
Mm.
Um,
Getting there.
Interesting. Emma Similar has arthritis in her hand and degeneration of the back. Deep Blue is her most favourite. Use it on her hands and neck and back. Keeps her going,
Mm.
especially on a cold day. Good for
Mm.
helping to warm up the area. We know
Yeah.
cold gets into the joint. It's no good, is it? Hubby hooked on Deep Blue stick. He's very concerned if it runs out. Whatever you do, keep me stocked up with the Deep Blue. Don't run out. Oh, that's lovely. Yeah, good to test them out. You can always get the little sachets as well of the
Mm.
rub to try, and have a go at that. Right, over to me and share my screen. So just a little bit about highlighting one of our supplements tonight, just while we're clear, we're not going to spend too long on it. If you do use the Microplex, the multivitamin that doTERRA do, or if you use a Lifelong Vitality Pack, the full pack, and you've had any nice experiences or you've been using it for a while, please feel free to share that in the chat. So I hope you can see that. I just wanted to share one of them because this is the sort of multivitamin and it provides a balanced blend of everything that you need, your A, vitamins C and E, as well as your complex of B vitamins. What's interesting and what stands out amongst the rest of supplements that you may be able to get on the market is it's been patented in this glycoprotein matrix. And you think, what is that? What it means is it makes the vitamins, the minerals more absorbable for the body. So if we just read that here, this matrix is created by introducing vitamins to lactobacillus and yeast, allowing the yeast to bind the vitamins into a protein structure, making them more recognizable as food during digestion. And additionally, there's a blend of digestive enzymes and mineral cofactors in that blend to improve the nutrient assimilation. So really to digest it and get all the nutrients out of it. We know that sometimes I've done it myself, bought some vitamins thinking that they're good and that it goes completely out. In fact, I knew that because of the change of colour of the urine. And I don't know if anyone's done that before. It's like been a bright colour and it's like, it's just gone straight out. It's not been absorbed into the body. So we really need to make sure we're not obviously advocating eating a junk diet and then just relying on these. We want to make sure we're eating fresh fruit and vegetables. However, because of the farming, the difference between 100 years ago, the actual intensity of the farming, so a tomato or an apple, the vitamin content like sort of 100 years ago, you need like 20 tomatoes to get the same now. So it is depleted in natural vitamins because of the intensity. So it's really good to have a backup on a daily basis to help cover all the bases nutritionally. So just briefly, we've got 22 essential vitamins and minerals, and this supports our normal bodily functions, cell growth, maintenance. What's interesting, as you can see in the picture of the vegetables there, it includes a whole food blend of kale, dandelion, parsley, kelp, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, and spinach. Tell me if you've made a soup with all them in. Because I haven't. So obviously we might use these elements in the day, but imagine them all together. So we're going to get all the green together. We've got all the chelated minerals, including calcium, magnesium, zinc, selenium, copper, manganese, and chromium. We've got our full spectrum of vitamin E forms, and it also supports our bone health with the magnesium, zinc, calcium, and we know how important vitamin D is, especially in the winter time. So that is the Microplex. So it stands out amongst the rest of the vitamins on the market because it's freshly made. So it has a shelf life. And they only sort of select the best ingredients, and it's bioavailable, meaning the body, when you put it in your mouth, it thinks it's food and it absorbs it with the rest of the food that you're eating. If you take a supplement that's been synthetically made, the body doesn't really know what to do with it and it just goes straight out. And I'm just going to share a little bit about supplements on the market, which I found quite interesting. But first of all, there's a great study that doTERRA did involving the whole pack. So this is using the 3 elements. We've got the Microplex, but also the omega fatty acid complex and the alpha cellular complex. So a recent clinical trial involved 16 participants tested its health effects in over 2 months. And the results showed significant improvements in these people with the blood lipids, the insulin levels, the cardiovascular biomarkers, EPA ratios, and indicating obviously benefits for the cardiovascular health and their glucose regulation. The participants also reported enhanced mental clarity, energy, and overall happiness. So they really support the health benefits of the Lifelong Vitality Pack for our cardiovascular health, our metabolism, inflammation in the body with the alpha CRS, and our mood as well. So it covers all the bases. If you're feeling a bit less than, I definitely would encourage you to try either the Lifelong Vitality Trio or definitely start with the Microplex. These two together come as a daily nutrient pack as well, which you can have your essential fatty acids and your A to Z of vitamin. And you know that you're getting the good stuff every day and you're covering all bases. With regard to the supplement industry, I don't know if anyone knows, but unlike pharmaceuticals, dietary supplements are not required to prove safety or efficacy, according to the FDA. So there's no, they don't need to sort of prove anything. And what's interesting with the FDA, they reported over 1,050 tainted supplements with synthetic drugs and adulterants in them. Approximately 23,000 people visit emergency departments annually due to supplement-related industry issues. So supplements that are maybe toxic and the body's not accepted them. And because there's no screening, there's no testing, there's no standards. Despite all this, over 50% of US adults take at least one supplement, contributing to a massive $40 billion industry. So profit-driven, and we know doTERRA are not profit-driven, they are sort of product and value and quality-driven. So some supplements contain undeclared ingredients, fillers, and potentially harmful substances which can pose health risks. So really be careful. Don't just take something off the shelf and trust it. Just a little bit more about doTERRA. So when we got into doTERRA, we probably got into them because of the oils, and we knew how pure the oils were and the testing that goes into it. Well, don't think that Lifelong Vitality Pack or the Microplex VMz is any different. It goes through rigorous standards, very similar to the testing of the oils. Some of the testing includes microbial, heavy metal testing, and it ensures safety, and it makes sure there's no harmful additives or allergens. The quality of the ingredients is amazing for the Lifelong Vitality Pack. They select it carefully to make sure there's no sort of harmful additives to it, and really it goes through strict regulations, so we can be sure that the auditing that is involved, and I've had a testimonial of this actually, knowing that they don't just say, oh, a third party test it. I actually had an experience where 2 ladies in Ireland that do doTERRA as a job like myself, they spoke to a company that was used to test things like soil and water, sort of scientific research laboratory. And they said, so bear in mind that in Cork, in Ireland, the doTERRA have a distillery for the oils and some other products. That doTERRA actually went to them to ask for third-party testing, and that's in Limerick in Ireland. So this is just from a stranger just talking about it. So they don't just say it, they do it, and they're not just going internally saying, "Oh, we have the best thing." They're actually getting somebody else to verify the screening and the purity involved in that. That's just a little bit about the supplements. So you can be sure that anything that you get in your shop, it's certified and it's going in your body and it's going to do good, not harm. So I'm just going to pass over to Deborah, who's going to share the lovely Rosemary with some lovely testimonials as well. Sorry, no, recipes. There we go.
Bear with. I hope I'm doing this right, Rachel. Can you see that? Oh,
Perfect, Deborah. Lovely.
really?
Yeah.
The thing is, I can't see it now.
Well, we can.
I'm so glad. Bear with. Oh, I'm gormless. Ah, boom. Thank you for your patience there. So the beautiful rosemary is our free oil of the month with any single 125 PV order of anybody who's on an LRP before the 15th of March. We know it's an oil that grows prolifically in our gardens. But how we're going to use it? Well, there are many ways to use it. doTERRA source it in North Africa, and this is just because it's just above the Mediterranean region and it grows best by the sea. And what I particularly love is the Latin name for it is dew of the sea, and this is because it requires no additional water. So because it's by the sea, the humidity will carry across and the rosemary just thrives. And I absolutely love the fact it's part of the mint family, and it's just such a lovely, very vibrant, strong herb. And for us personally, if anybody wants to pop in the chat how we actually use it, they use it themselves, then that'll be super helpful. But I know for me, I have the attention span of a gnat, so this is a fantastic oil for me to diffuse. I actually should be diffusing it now, but I'm not. To diffuse with, I often diffuse it with spearmint, which are both oils of concentration and focus. But if you prefer, you can diffuse it either by itself or with tangerine or peppermint. If we feel that our hair is lacking luster, perhaps a little bit greasy or oily, or we suffer with a little bit of dandruff, then hopefully this is an oil that can support that. So just one drop in our shampoo or conditioner, and obviously rinse away. And over the weeks, if not months, hopefully we'll see a difference in our hair. It is a great oil for flavoring. So if somebody's got a roast on, then rosemary is a great oil to use for that. And I saw a really nice thing the other day with like crushed potatoes roasted with a little bit of rosemary and seasoning and salt. It looked absolutely delicious. If somebody wanted additional respiratory support, then it can be diluted and popped over the chest. But obviously caution's needed, and do obviously what you think feels best for you. But it's a really nice oil for so many things. It also, which I could do with today, it blends well with wintergreen for a lovely massage. And if we're just absolutely exhausted and we just need a little bit of rejuvenation, then it's a great oil to use with frankincense in our bath with some Epsom salts. So but emotionally, this is what I absolutely love. From the Essential Emotions book, it tells us we can inhale from the bottle or from our hands. We can pop it on the back of the neck or the forehead or behind the ears. And it's for people who perhaps at times feel confused. We have difficulty adjusting. So this could be perhaps we've gone to school for the first time, or we've moved house, or we've lost a loved one, and we're life is not going as expected. So this is a lovely oil, hopefully to support us into readjusting and transitioning from one period in our life to another. It's also supportive of people who have difficulty with learning. And this may not be of lack of intellect. It could just that we just feel overwhelmed and we're just struggling. So this is a lovely oil for that. And the positive properties, whether diffusing, inhaling, popping it obviously topically on our body with perhaps a fractionated coconut oil, it says it hopefully will give us mental clarity, make us knowledgeable, teachable, enlightened, open to new experiences, and the ability to adjust. So I feel sometimes life can be hard, can't it? And all of us can just really struggle just day to day sometimes, just with anything that life throws at us. So this could be a really lovely oil in helping us in an emotional way. And then we've got some recipes. So if somebody wants to take a screenshot, lemon and rosemary chicken, which is right up my street, bob it in the oven. You could roast perhaps a little bit of chicken thigh or something, or breast. I prefer thigh. And this is a really lovely recipe. And then if anybody does it, if you let us know how you got on, I shall do the same. And then the second one is some rosemary herb bread. Who doesn't like a little bit of bread? And I actually have not tried this yet, but I'm going to. So if anybody wants to screenshot that, please do. And then we've got an essential hair wax. So it could be you're a man or a woman and you would just like to use a really nice hair product, which is not filled with chemicals and all kinds of stuff. And this is a lovely one to use with peppermint and rosemary. And this is the thing about the oils, they're just so incredibly versatile and we can use them in so many ways. And, we're really getting our money's worth. And this is a great one to try. I've never tried it myself, but Rachel's going to, and she's going to tell me how it goes.
I'm going to try this one.
Stop sharing.
Yeah. Thank you.
Do you know, sharing is not for me.
I'll just add me. I'll add.
That was wonderful. Thank you for those.
Whoever's doing any testimonials, I'll just add us all to that there. There we go. 5 amigos. Just going back to some of them Rosemary testimonials, some nice ones, some nice ideas.
Yeah, I'm a thigh person. If somebody said chicken breast or a thigh to use a rosemary or lemon, honestly,
no-brainer. Yeah,
you need the bones in the meat.
You do. That you do.
No joke.
Emma uses rosemary with peppermint when she's working in the afternoon, and we know she has a very important job, so that will help her with her mental practice.
Thank you, Emma.
Thank you, Emma. What about this? In Toad in the Hole.
Now we're farming with sausage. Yeah, I'm going to try that.
It's stunning, I have to say.
On roast chicken with lemon. Diffuse it with Air for respiratory support, because obviously it's in on guard, isn't it? Good for the
lungs. Just say, I have never diffused it with air, and I always diffuse air, so I'm going to do that actually.
Thank you for that, Laura. It's always good to find what everyone else is doing. Thyroid issues, it helps with hair from thinning. A few drops into the shampoo bottle. Thyroid issues can cause hair thinning around here, can't it? I think. And Jane has a lovely rosemary eyelash and eyebrow recipe, and she is a testimonial to that because she has got the most luscious lashes and brows now. You should have done it before and after, Jane.
I know.
Recently a lady had mold poisoning, so Jillian made her some shampoo with tea tree and rosemary, as it was in her hair, the mold, and she said it worked to kill all the mold, and she loved it. And what a lovely smell as well.
Yeah.
Lovely. That's great. So I'll just share, if I can just share mine first. It's not mine actually, it's our lovely friend Deborah. Some experiences with some people with ADHD and autism. One is a 2.5-year-old little boy, and he was very hyperactive at nursery, screamed a lot. There's not a lot they could do, and he couldn't sit still at meetings. So they started him with 1 drop of Serenity oil on the back of the neck. The next week, the mother was called into school and she thought, oh, hey, what's up? And they said to her, what have you been doing different? They actually turned around to her and said, it's the best week he had since he started nursery. He started playing with the children, and he only had 1 bad day on the Tuesday. And it turns out she didn't apply Serenity on the Tuesday. Now he sits at meetings, no longer having panic attacks when he sees new people.
Oh.
His dad had very similar issues, but he had insomnia as well. So they gave him Serenity, but also Serenity Softgels. He went from an insomniac to he couldn't actually get up. So they realised it was too much Serenity, so they had to reduce the Serenity to reduce the dose so he could actually wake up in the morning. That's amazing, isn't it?
So you can overdose from Serenity.
Yeah, so be careful with that if you want to get knocked out. And then one more. We had an extreme autistic ADHD person who was non-verbal, and he was feeding from a feeding tube. When Deborah went to see him, he put a blanket over his head, just, don't want this. He was drawn to the Brave oil. They tried to diffuse in the room, diffusing balance, the grounding blend, and then said shake it up with a bit of citrus bliss when you want in more of an uplifting environment. He struggled with sleep, only getting 5 hours, so Serenity was applied at night time. His sleeping went from 5 to 7 hours, and that's on a regular basis, not just the one-off. Because he was in so much distress with his feeding, he's in a lot of discomfort, very uncomfortable. He used to bang when he was in pain, banging himself because he was in so much pain, and nothing the doctors gave him could sort it. So she left him a bottle of Zenject. And when they gave him that, he said it's made a huge difference in his pain. He no longer bangs himself. He's very calm. Yeah, I think they've rubbed it over topically on that. And last but not least, they tried DDR Prime. For anyone who doesn't know DDR Prime, it helps the cell to renew. So they tried DDR Prime on him, and they noticed that he came out with a new sound. He'd only had 1 sound before, and so a new sound came out. However, he was banging his head against the wall, and it turns out the place that he was banging it was the one that is related to sound and hearing. So they decided to reduce DDR Prime from 3 a day, three times a day, to maybe 1 a day. So he could still improve, but it's not as intense for him. She said, I've got my happy little boy again. It's transformed our family life. He no longer has the panic and the outbursts that he used to have, and it's made a huge difference to the life.
Oh,
yeah. Even Deborah Rose didn't recognise him.
No, she said it was that little boy when she came again.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Lovely.
Yeah. So feel free to unmute if you've got one, ladies.
I've got one about Cyprus. Can I share?
Yeah, that was a good one. Yeah.
So, one of you who will be listening bought Cyprus for somebody else, since one of the oil sessions suggested it for urinary and bladder issues. The person described it as a miracle cure, normally up several times a night to the toilet and often searching for loo when out during the day, especially in cold weather. I gave a few drops in roller to rub on bladder area and corresponding points on the feet at night. Now rarely disturbed during the night. If they miss a night, they're up to the toilet just once instead of several times, so getting much better night's sleep. So this person actually tried it themselves for another urinary issue. It didn't seem quite as effective, so she checked her book, which is the wonderful thing about having your own reference book, how you can just find something, a solution. And she found that to combine it with tea tree ended up much better for her, quite effective, rubs it on bladder area every night. And then I had mentioned to this person that cypress, well, I'd mentioned an experience actually in my little group of something that had happened for our family member, and mentioned that it may support with regulation. So she said with temperature regulation. So she tried that in her hot flush spray with peppermint. Extreme and loads of ease, extremely refreshing, like a cooling blast of freshness. Seems to increase effectiveness of peppermint. Very pleased. My answer to that would be maybe it's the peppermint making the cypress work even harder. And then also, since this person has put cypress in the roller and in the spray with carrier oil, it's very economical, should last ages. I thought that was lovely, and I really appreciated that you had some tips from us, but you also had a reference book as well. So between the two, it enhanced your experience and somebody else's experience as well, which is just shows the power of these oils and the power of us getting educated as well. I just love that. Thank you for sharing. You know who you are.
Amazing, thank you. Gillian, did you have one?
Yes, I am unmuted because I wasn't saying. Mine's just a girl I was talking to has twin boys, and she just said that her twin boys had been coughing for months and been on a very low dose of antibiotics that didn't really seem to be doing anything. So I gifted her some On Guard and a diffuser to put and she put it in the boys' bedroom, and they'd been coughing for months, and they stopped coughing that night with On Guard. And she said I couldn't believe it. A mother-in-law was staying over, and she finally got some sleep.
Yeah,
Amazing.
it's powerful, isn't it? It's life-changing for the family. That
I mean, to the point where the parents were a little bit skeptical, to be fair, but they then went and bought a kit.
Do you know what brings to mind that experience with the autism and ADHD? Even though the parents were so desperate, the faith they had in putting them oils on the back of the neck, not knowing what it would do. Yeah, blows your mind, doesn't it? Anyone else got anything to share? Deborah?
Well, it's not like epic, but do you know what? I felt down recently. I'm a really, really positive person, but my minor foot injury with my little broken toe has got me down. You know, when you just can't do what you normally do, and it's so frustrating. And I'm like a really positive person, but I'll tell you what, in the last couple of months, I felt like, I don't know, I felt just not right. But every day, just making sure I've diffused an oil, I've had an oil in my hand, just inhaling, just basic, back to basic things has proved to be really helpful to me and really supported me. And has it been a miracle cure? It has not. However, I feel like without it, I would have felt worse than I have. And just things like balance, or I'm more of an balanced person than an adaptive person personally, but just making sure, do not let our oils sit on our shelves gathering dust, because if we paid for them, let's use them. That's what I keep saying to myself. So I have them in my bathroom, so just popping them in the shower in the morning, different things can be not only physically helpful, hopefully, but also mentally and emotionally. And I just feel like just to utilize everything we've got in our home, whether it's a wild orange or a peppermint or something. And that's what I've remembered myself in the last couple of months, that it's important to make sure our mental health is bob on as best it can be in this system, because it can certainly affect our physical, can't it? So that was my little lesson recently.
Thank you for that. Yeah, it's important, that. Really important. And I think we're noticing a pattern for children, teenagers who are struggling with anxiety. If in doubt, either wild orange or citrus bliss, and balance as two. You know, if you had to pick, there's so many oils, but I would say those two are just great, and you can combine them as well. And to help support them, you can diffuse it, you can help them to breathe it in and put it in a roller for them. That'll be really supportive of their mental health. Okie doke. So I'll just stop recording now.